Well, right now, let's bring in Republican Congressman Dodd Akin of Missouri. And Congressman, what's your take on this business about, we know the public is outraged, but could this have a political backlash because Congress is also involved in oversight, and maybe there's some backlash heading towards you guys?
Well, there certainly is a tremendous amount, and there's very good reason to have backlash. What you have in this situation, the public attention is focused on $165 million in a very nice executive compensation package, which was really approved through a sneak amendment that came into the porculus bill that we passed just a few weeks ago. Senator Dodd, the senator who received more money in political contributions from AIG than any other person in Congress, put an amendment, as we understand it, into this 1,000-plus page bill. Now, there had been an agreement that there would be transparency, that we'd have 48 hours to be able to look at the package. We got it as Republicans at 11:30 at night, voted on it the next day. We all voted against it, but it contained that language to allow this executive pay package to go through. Now there's an apparent and I believe feigned outrage at what's happened, but in fact this was actually included in a bill that was really Obama's bill and that was passed here again without the promises of transparency being taken care of. Now, the public attention is on $165 million because it sounds like a big number. But the real story is $170-some billion of government taxpayer money that is being spent. So we're talking hundreds of times more money where there is not transparency, and that's being sent to Germany and to France and all over the country, all over the world.
Well, okay, but let's first back to Senator Dodd for just a second. I mean, he did do an interview with the Fox News Channel where he did defend his actions, so I want to be fair on that one. But then also, let's talk a little bit about Edward Liddy. He is, he's going into the hot seat here within the next hour. He was Treasury appointed. He's been there 6 months. He's got a $1 salary. Yet all of a sudden, he's the evildoer. He's the evil guy in all of this. Why are we finger pointing at Liddy, who isn't getting anything out of this except probably a bad reputation?
Well, I think that really the finger pointing needs, first of all, be directed to the Congress and to the president who allowed this executive package to go through. Also, we're talking about, as I said, way over $165 million. We're talking about billions of dollars of taxpayers' money where there is terrible transparency, where the money is not being spent in an accountable kind of way. And the average taxpayer, because this money is all coming out of the hide of the taxpayer, doesn't know where all this money is going. So this is just one example of tremendous excesses in dealing with the financial situation, which, by the way, was created, again, starting in Congress with policies saying we're going to make loans to people who can't afford to pay the loans.
But, Congressman, I just real quick here, I got to point out here, all of this comes from the last administration. I mean, we're dealing with two different administrations. All of these programs began back in the fall. These bonuses, and I'm not defending it, it's awful what they're doing. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, these bonuses are put in place and these contracts were signed back when AIG was a, quote, healthy company. So, I mean, it's a lot to just go back now and say, okay, we're going to tax the money. You have to give it back. I don't think Congress has that power, sir.
Well, certainly, from a legal point of view, at this point, there was legal agreements that were made with these particular executives, and so they have a legal right to try to hang on to their money. On the other hand, we have an administration who is very eager to push legislation called cram down, where you're going to completely nullify a legal agreement between a borrower and a lender, and they're perfectly comfortable doing that. But here again, we got a tremendous amount of campaign contributions going to people like Senator Dodd, and he's put this language in to protect the people of his district and AIG company. But again, is this really where we want the public money being spent? I just think, again, the promises where we heard transparency, and yet we get in very short order a 1,000-page bill with all of these kinds of of hidden kinds of packages. This is
right.
creating a lot of reaction.
Unfortunately, you're bringing up stimulus, which the folks at home, they've got TARP and you've got stimulus and extra money to AIG, and people's heads are spinning at all the programs coming out of D.C. right now. But we're going to have to leave it there. Congressman Todd Akin from Missouri, thank you, sir.
And
real quick, Congressman, can I ask you one quick thing? Are you going to go into the hearing room later on today? Because we hear a lot of people a lot of congressmen that aren't on that committee are actually going to go in there later today. Are you going to go listen in?
Well, again, the question is whether you can get in and how many seats there are, because this is something that people are paying a tremendous amount of attention to, and we'll take a look at it along with the other parts of the schedule for the day.
All right. It's hottest ticket in town. Thanks, Congressman. Liz McDonald, your BlackBerry's been going off.